Okay, good evening everyone. So for today paper introduction, I will introduce this paper called Infinite Nature Zero, Learning Perpetual View Generation of Natural Scenes from Single Images. It is presented at ECCV 2022. The abstract summary is that it is a technique of self-supervised learning to generate unbounded fly-through videos of natural scenes starting from a single view. It is learned from a collection of single photographs, so only image input, without requiring camera poses or even multiple view of each scene. It capable of generating long camera trajectories comprised of hundreds of new views with realistic and diverse content from a single image despite never seeing a video during training. So the task that is tackled here is called perpetual view generation. The task is originated from 3D photography generation, which is a task where we create a multi-layer representation for novel view synthesis that contains hallucinated color and depth structures in region that is occluded by the content in the original view. It is done by displaying parallax induced by viewpoint motion at viewing time. So for example in here, this is a result from one-shot 3D photography. But in most 3D photography or 3D in painting results, they only capable of extrapolating scene within a limited range of view, usually corresponding to a small head movement. So it cannot do a generation beyond that small head movement. So from 3D photography, in Infinite Nature, they introduced a new task, which is called perpetual view generation. The task is to generate a long-range view corresponding to an arbitrarily wrong camera trajectory given a single image. So this new task is introduced in 2021 with paper Infinite Nature, Perpetual View Generation of Natural Scene from a Single Image. So the task in here is to fill the unseen world beyond the object inside the image. So as the camera travels through the world, the models need to first model the 3D depth field of the image and then try to fill the unseen missing regions in a harmonious manner. So this is a task of in painting to fill in the pixel that is harmonious between the foreground and the background, and also to add a new detail as the scene content approach the camera. So because the camera will move forward, so there will be a new area beyond the original image that we need to add a new scene or a new detail. So this is a case of outpainting. And then also maintaining photorealism, because when the camera moves forward, the image will be stretched, so there will be blur and missing details. So they need to perform a super resolution to maintain photorealism and detail inside the image. So this is the image generation tasks that is done inside this new task, perpetual view generation. So in the previous work, which is Infinite Nature, it is an autoregressive video synthesis. The input is image, RGB image or the frame of video with the depth map of the image. So this is the image, RGB image, and then the depth map of the image, and also the target camera trajectory or where the next position of camera will be. And then the output is the new image and the image sequence and its depth map at that camera trajectory. So the process in Infinite Nature is the three-step process, which is render, refine, and repeat. So from input image and the 3D depth map and the camera trajectory, the render model will move the 3D into the new camera trajectory with the idea of 3D photography. So the object will move forward. That's why it will resulting in empty pixel or cut off pixel that is the rendered result of a new position. And then from here, the second model is refining model. This is the in-painting and out-painting to fill in the missing pixel inside the new position. From here, we have the new image or the new frame for the video generation. And then this will be the input for the next step and then repeat the process. So during training, the input image is the frame at position 0. And then the result training loss will be compared to the image at the next frame. this works well. However, there are still imperfectness, which in long-term generation, the refinement process become unrealistic and the scene is not that great. And also, the problem in here is that Infinite Nature requires a large dataset with post video. It means that the video is not only the video of scene, but it also needs the data of where the position of the camera at that time point. So it needs the camera trajectory as the input to train the model, to supervise the model. And this is the problem because obtaining a video data, high quality and long video, is already challenging enough. And then if we add the need of the pose or the camera position of this video is very expensive to make. The video is very hard to collect. And in contrast, image data of scene in the internet is very cheap, is very easy to collect and use in many research problems. So, because the video data for this case is very difficult to obtain, the question is, how can we learn this perpetual view generation by simply observing image? So by training only in image scene without requiring the video or the camera pose. So this is the target of this paper. They introduced a self-supervised video generation via virtual camera. So the idea is that because we don't have the camera data or the camera position, we make a virtual position. So they call it, the model is Infinite Nature Zero, learning perpetual view generation from only collection of single photos without requiring multiple view of each scene or camera position. And the result, they improve upon visual quality compared to previous work. So this is just a naming origin trivia, because the previous work also from Google is called Infinite Nature. And then this work trained Infinite Nature with zero video data, so that's why they call it Infinite Nature Zero. So this is the training sim. They have two parts of training, which is the self-supervised training and then the generative adversarial training. So the detail is, the first step is the self-supervised view synthesis. The goal is to synthesize the targets for self-supervision via cyclic virtual camera trajectory. It is to by generate cyclic camera trajectory that starts and ends at the training image. So because the training data now, it's only consists of one image, but the task is to create a video. So we need to make a new camera position, a virtual camera. The first step is just treat this image as the next view, and then we create virtual previous position. So this is the idea. Treat the known real image as the held out next view, and then we try to simulate or create a virtual previous position. By doing this, the model can learn geometry-aware view refinement. So the detail is that the process is still the same with Infinite View, which is the render refine model. The first step is from the current image, from the input image, sample a cyclic virtual camera position. So they try to generate a camera position at t-1. So this is the virtual position. And then we render the previous viewpoint from input image. So this is the input image. We try to create what is the previous view from this image. So it's like going backward one step by process rendering only. So that's why it still have missing pixel. What is the previous image or previous frame before this? And then from this render location and depth map, we go forward, render the predicted next view from the position. So we go back to create an image, a virtual image of previous position, and then go forward again to predict what is the next view if the known image is this virtual image. So that's why it's called cyclic virtual camera. And then from here, we get the rendered next view. We perform refinement to the predicted next view to fill in the pixel, the missing pixel inside here. And then we get the predicted current view. So now the training is the training loss is done by comparing the actual image and the predicted cycle rendered view. So the model, this render and refine model, trained to match this starting point. So just trying to go backward one step and then go forward from that backward image, and then compare is the image still the same or not. So this is the cyclic virtual camera trajectory, or the self-supervision, because the goal or the target is the image itself, the input image itself. That's why it is self-supervision learning. And with that step 1 model train, it can already generate a new position, because so in here, the W model, the render model, the input render model is the RGB input image, and then the depth map, and also the camera trajectory, either T or C. So this W-1 is not inverse, it's just that the model receive image, depth map, and the trajectory position -1, like so. So by training this model only, we can use the model W to generate any new rendered position at any T. So by training step 1 only, the model already able to generate new view at any viewpoint of camera post T from an input image. However, if we do render, refine, repeat over a long multiple steps, the image quickly degenerates. So it broke down with multiple steps, because at step 1, the model is only trained to predict one forward step. So if we multiple those steps, the generated image become not good. So that's why after step 1, although it's already capable of generating new view, we need to train the model to synthesize multiple recurrently generated camera viewpoints. So this is the second step, which is the adversarial perpetual view generation. So from the original input view, we synthesize a longer virtual camera trajectory. So we only generate or sample camera position, the camera position. Randomly sample a virtual camera path by iteratively performing render, refine, repeat for T times. So in each T position, or in camera position, it will generate new view, and then like the infinite nature, it perform render, refine, repeat to generate new view, and so on. So the T is randomly sampled between 1 and T max, which is the number of generated path. The algorithm to sample or to generate a virtual position, they adopt the autopilot algorithm from infinite nature to avoid the camera flying into out of distribution point. And then in infinite nature, because the input is video, in each generated position, it has the target of video frame to compare, right? But in here, because the input is just one image, we cannot compare the result, because in each frame it has no target. There are no ground truths for the generated images. So to overcome this problem, they introduce this balanced gun sampling. So they assume that for the adversarial loss, they just need the discriminator for the gun to see the last image only from this camera trajectory. So they only feed the discriminator the last generated image. This is as the fake image, and then the original image as the real image, and then use the discriminator to differentiate the real and the fake. By doing this, they assume that if the discriminator cannot distinguish the fake and the real, it means that the end result of the video, the last frame of the video, is still a real image. So if the beginning is real, and then the last image is also perceived as a real image, we can assume that all the images between those two images are also quite real. So with this assumption, they choose to only compare the start and the finish only, without comparing the images between those two. And then also, because the path is generated within the batch, so in each batch from multiple images, it will have the same camera trajectory. It means that each batch of training will exhibit similar content and viewpoint variation. So by doing this, they're able to learn stable view generation for long camera trajectories. The problem is that they found out if this path is too long at the beginning of the training, the model cannot converge because it takes longer time for the network to predict plausible view at more distant viewpoints. So it is proven from the step 1 if that to generate just one virtual step, the model can converge. But if the task is to generate a long term, it is very hard to converge these generated images. So that's why they limit the number of virtual camera and then progressively increase the limit during the training. So at the start, from the step 1, they train the step 1 for 200,000 steps of training. So this is just essentially T is 1, the maximum camera position is 1. And then after 200 steps, in the second part of the training, they increase the trajectory by 1 for every 25,000 iterations. So the maximum camera position will increase by 1, by 1, by 1 until the maximum camera view, and then it continue training with this T max camera position. And by doing this, they able to generate a more realistic and the training can converge. And then the last one is the global sky correction. They found out that although the image is quite good, the sky synthesized by Infinite Nature can contain unrealistic artifacts. So the result is not that good in the sky area after multiple steps because the mono depth or the model that changed this image into the 3D depth map, the model is inaccurate in sky region. So the model can predict the 3D map of objects, but it is very hard to predict the 3D map of the sky area because it's like the pixel is very similar, right? That's why it's very hard to do the mono depth prediction in this area. So that's why the result, the sky contents usually becomes quickly approach the camera in unrealistic manner. So for example, in some results of the Infinite Nature, if the camera moves that way, the object correctly move as the opposite of the camera movement, right? But the sky is just all over the place, moving all over the place. So the sky approach the camera in an unrealistic manner. So the solution is that they use another model to do the sky correction. So correct sky region of refined image at each step by comparing to the sky content of the starting view. So this is only done at the test time to correct the end result of the sky. So they do it by using semantic segmentation because the depth map wasn't able to correctly map the sky. So they use semantic segmentation to classify which pixel is sky and not. And then from here, they create a soft sky max. So because from semantic segmentation, we can know this is pixel of sky, we can make a masking, which is where is the sky and not, and then correct the texture and this disparity or the cloud and then the color by alpha blending. So by blending the result and the previous step image. So by blending the result and the previous image, they can make the sky view more smooth. So it's not like quickly changing. And then they do this by expand the input image and disparity through GAN inversion to seamlessly create a canvas of high resolution. The result is that after global sky correction, they reduce significantly the artifacts of the sky area and it made the generated view more realistic. And yes, that's all the experiment and result. So the detail, the model used co-mode GAN for the refinement module, which is a style GAN backbone consisting of global encoder, multi-scale feature extractor encoder, and then style GAN generator. It also has super resolution module on top of refinement model because refinement model is able to generate 128 by 128, so they use super resolution to upscale the image into 512 and 512 image. They use Midas network for the depth map estimation. They use DeepLab V3 for semantic segmentation for the sky correction. They train on landscape HQ dataset and new dataset which is from Infinite Nature called ACID, Aerial Coastline Imagery Dataset. Not to confuse with other dataset with the same abbreviation. The baseline they compare to Infinite Nature, the previous method. GFVS, pixel scene, SLAM, and DGUN video generation, the metric, because the training is 2 steps, the short range view synthesis or the self-supervision, because they compare with the original image, so they use PSNR, SSIM, and LPIPS to compare the pixel distribution and everything. For the long range view generation, because this is adversarial or generative training, they use preset inception distance, sliding window FID, and kernel inception distance. They train on center crop of 120H by 120H images with the maximum camera is 10 step. Train on NVIDIA A100 GPU. To converge the 128 by 128 model, they need 6 days to train with 1 day training super resolution. They said that this is more plausible than if they scale up the model to produce full 512 by 512 model. They need almost 20 days to train. And then this is the result of the Infinite Nature Zero. So this is the starting image and then the generated image at T50, T100 until T500. So the model only trained until T10, but the inference time, we can produce image until 500 frames. So this is the result for the generation, which is quite good, although some of the result is hallucinated, but the overall result is very, very good. And then this is the comparative result with other model. They show that compared to GFVS, the model break down almost immediately after few generation. Their previous works, which is Infinite Nature, able to generate long generation, but almost at the end of the generation, the image is not that well. Compared to their model, it is still generating realistic images. So they show that compared to previous model, the PSNR, SSIM, LPIPS for the image generation, cyclic generation is better. And also for the long-term view generation, the model is still quite realistic compared to other model. So this is the result of their model. So GFVS and SLAM just broke down immediately. Infinite Nature able to generate view continuously, but the result compared to the Infinite Nature Zero is worse than the latest work. This is just another example also. And then they also do the ablation study. So they tried what if they don't use the balance gun, they don't use the self-supervision and everything. So with all module use, the model is better in terms of PSNR, SSIM, LPIPS, and also FID and CID style. And then they also show in the project page that they can do this explicit camera viewpoint control, so they can control where the next camera is if we want the camera to go just linear motion forward or go from left turn to right turn and so on. So they can do a more realistic, like a drone shot view moving along a coastline or something. And yes, that's all. The conclusion is that this is a method for learning perpetual view generation of natural scenes solely from single view photos, capable of generating hundreds of view covering realistic natural scenes along a long camera trajectory. The limitation is in here is that it's able to produce globally consistent background. However, it does not ensure the global consistency of foreground contents. So for example, in here, we can see that, well, because this is gun, right? We can see in here, like the image of the city changing, right? The content of the city is changing along the frame. So the content is always changing. Although the background, like the contour of the mountain, the coastline of the sea, the beach, if they generate beach, then they try to continuously maintain the beach until it moves into inside the sea, but the detail of the object is still inconsistent of foreground content. Also, it can generate unrealistic view if the desired camera trajectory is not seen during the training, especially in this explicit camera viewpoint control. When we control the camera into a position that is very different from the image inside the dataset, usually the result is not very realistic. And yes, that's all from my presentation. Thank you. If there is any question.